in here for a little bit. My name is Tiffany Matthews, and I'm founder and CEO of PACE. PACE is an acronym for Patient Advocacy and Caregiver Empowerment. You can visit my website at advocacybypace.com. My mission with my webcast and podcast rather. I say webcast because I do record other times for video. But right now, what I'm trying to test is to see if, hi babe. I want to try and test if we could do a Twitter space. I think it's the same as Clubhouse in a way, but I kind of want to broadcast it for people on Twitter that aren't as comfortable on Clubhouse as I thought they would be, but I want to expand my audience and I want to be able to share my message with women. And it's an important one. I saw an article today, as a matter of fact, that said something about healthcare being bad business for women. And I'm really shocked. I was kind of shocked that they don't make it simple for women. And we have very, very unique needs and, things that men don't have to deal with. And those things need special attention, special care. And a lot of times in healthcare, we as women don't get the care we need. So as a board certified patient advocate and healthcare nerd, I want to welcome you to Healthcare Interrupted. And my goal and my mission is to educate and empower women to have the best healthcare experiences, whether you're a patient in the system, a caregiver in the system, however it works out for you, whatever role you play. I am here to support you. And I'm Tiffany Matthews, as I said, your healthcare BFF. And I figure, why not expand? Let's try this on Twitter, and we'll have Clubhouse and Twitter going at the same time. My goal is to make sure the message is loud and clear that we as women in the United States healthcare system can get better care. Now, this is not to say that your care is horrible right now. And this is not to say that you've ever been mistreated or that you feel you have been. Well, I'm here to let you know, it may not have happened to you. And if not, that's wonderful. Things like being dismissed or having your symptoms ignored or being told little microaggressions like you worry too much or you're stressing yourself out. Stop worrying. There's nothing wrong. Things like that can drive somebody nuts. And I'm here to let you know it happens all the time. Our healthcare system is pretty much racist and patriarchal. But there are things that we as women can do to still get the best care available to us. And I want that message spread loud and clear with all women because it's important to know the dangers and unique challenges we face in the system so that we're able to address them and overcome them. And that's what I want to help women do. Get the best care possible, even in this dysfunctional system that refuses to listen to us. And I'm so tired of that. So I am here as your healthcare BFF to serve you and help you have a better healthcare experience. So again, the company is PACE, P-A-C-E, and the website is advocacybypace.com. And as I said, if you're a patient, caregiver, if you're a mom of a child with chronic illness like me, or a child of senior parents with chronic illness like me, then I'm here to help you navigate a system that is dismissive and broken and disjointed. I'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one through PACE Power Calls. I do coaching calls for women in crisis with their health care or caregiving. And I'm doing a launch of the Powerful Patient Partner Program. It's a program I created to teach women, in spite of all the odds, how to be the patient you need to be in this system. We still have to get good health care no matter what. And I want to teach women how to do it. And it is possible. There's so many things for patients to manage when they're in the healthcare system that if you have any hope of saving time and money, getting organized and prepared is the only possible way you're going to be able to do that. And I have my kid here dancing in front of me and she's making me laugh. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I'm trying to be as professional as possible. But when you have a teenage child, sometimes that's not possible. Okay, I'm back. Forgive me. Now, with PACE Education, the Powerful Patient Partner Program, I'm going to have online videos that will come with worksheets and bonuses and different levels of support from me for you to become a stronger patient. Each course I teach, and I teach over 30, each course is designed for you to be a stronger patient. And I'm going to be packaging them so that you can get a little taste of each course for a limited time. And we'll talk more about that later. But feel free to follow me at Advocacy by PACE or Your Healthcare BFF on all the social media platforms. So now on to Healthcare Interrupted. So since we as women have a problem, major problem in healthcare with bias, and it just is pervasive in the healthcare system, we have to fight a little more to get the healthcare we need that's equal to men. Funny part is, except for my Uncle Mark, because when I said this to him, he said, "Oh, no, not me." Women get men to the doctor, for the most part. It's a provable fact in some households. Men will not go to the doctor if women don't force them. So, not that I am not here to help male caregivers and patients, but I know who takes care of the healthcare decisions, who takes care of the caregiving decisions. I'm well aware of who that is in your household, for the most part, unless you're in my uncle's household. So, as I said, the goal here for me is to help women have better healthcare experiences, whether they're a patient in the system, a caregiver, a mom, or a child of senior parents. We're all here and we all need the same information. It's true. There's not a lot of doctors these days that are really sitting down with patients and giving them the education they need on their disease, on their medications or treatments, on the doctor themselves. You need to know their background so you know who's treating you. But a lot of times there's no time for that, especially with a busy practice or a doctor that's very, very busy. You might get, from what I've read in articles, you might get 7 to 10 minutes. And in those 7 to 10 minutes, you may have quite a bit to go over. Now, I'm not saying every doctor does that. My doctor does a little bit more time, and he always talks about my daughter. So he knows what's going to get me to open up to him and, let him know everything that's going on. It's important to be perfectly honest with your doctor. But for us as women, we have to contend with bias in the system. And if you're a Black woman like me, racism in the system. Provable fact. It's everywhere. Google it. Because I tell you, you can find so many studies on racism and healthcare and women, and it's just enough out there that you can simply Google. But knowing that, we still have to have methods as women to address those things. We have to have methods to address, our unique health and health care needs. For example, you don't have a guy that has to go and have a hysterectomy or a breast exam. And I'm not saying that men don't get breast cancer, because they do. But the majority is us, okay? So we have to get all the testing. Women are powerful. We are the only ones who have to go in there and get our boobs smashed in some machine that'll turn and twist your breast into some kind of Play-Doh looking object. And it hurts, people. But women do that all the time. And if men do it, I'm not aware of it. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong on occasion, but I know for a fact it's on a much, much, much smaller basis than women who have to get it done. So we as women have to take a little bit more time to get prepared, because in those 7 to 10 minutes that you have with the doctor, maybe you have a lot to talk about. I do. I have chronic pain to talk about. I have prediabetes to talk about. And I have a lot of other things that are going on with my body that I have to discuss, and a lot of other doctors that I have to see. For example, if I have to see my primary doctor, he does take a little longer than 7 to 10 minutes, because I tell him about all my other doctors. That's how I perform my care coordination. And that's a key skill for a woman who has to navigate a system that notoriously does not listen to us. And, if what it is that they don't want to listen, or it's some bias they have, we have to learn to be able to get around that, to get the care we need, whether we leave that doctor or whether we confront that doctor about what they do or say or possibly think. We still have to get care in that system. And things like that are traumatic. And I hear many, many women speaking about PTSD in the system or medical trauma. And medical trauma, from what I understand, is kind of like the PTSD of being mistreated in the healthcare system. And I see it, I hear about it all the time. There are people that don't go back to doctors because of how they've been treated, or, cost, all different kinds of reasons people avoid doctors. But we need the system. We have to have it. Just like the system has to have us in order to operate. So please don't let any doctor tell you that you're not important in your decision-making, in the decision-making process of your care and treatment. If they tell you that, get up, walk out, report them. You can report them. See, I'm of the opinion that a lot of these doctors aren't going to start to get it until we start hitting those pockets on a more frequent and regular basis. My thing is this. A lot of people don't understand things. A lot of people in business don't understand things until you start hitting their pockets. And I have some methods to help women through my healthcare management tools. I have a lot of methods to help women with standing up, speaking up, and getting the care they need in this very system that I talk about. It's so dysfunctional. It's wrought with fraud. It's wrought with overtreatment, and overtreatment is treating someone too much. A lot of doctors give practice over treatment because they're afraid of malpractice. And I don't blame them, actually, because that's frequent. But then you've got those bad apple doctors out there, and they need to be dealt with as well. You want to go in with the hope of a partnership with your provider. And if you cannot form one with your doctor or whoever, counselor, therapist, whoever, if you can't form a partnership with that provider to advance your care, leave. Run, actually, because healthcare is not a dictatorship unless you, as a woman, want it to be and decide that that's the kind of patient you want to be. If you prefer that the doctor take over and take hold of everything, that's okay. But it shouldn't be a frequent practice. You are the expert on you. So it's extremely important for you to have input, whatever it is, a phone call, whether you're coordinating care between doctors, whether you're at an appointment or in the emergency room. You still have a voice, and please don't let anyone tell you that you don't. So healthcare is not easy. It's really not. But what I want to do tonight is give you a couple of things that you can use even at your next appointment to be prepared for your healthcare interactions, whether they are crisis, emergency, or an appointment that helps you maintain your body 6 months to a year, you know. If it's your annual physical, that's awesome. But what you need is to be prepared for that appointment. And you could prepare for appointments by managing them in a process of before, during, and after. Before your appointment, you want to prepare. You want to make sure that you've got everything that you have to bring, that you are bringing the things that you need to on your appointment, whether it's lab work or test results or something that another provider of yours wanted to relay to that doctor. What do you have to bring? Information, records, lab results, any kind of information that you have to bring, and what you have to do in order for the appointment to commence. During, you want to make sure you monitor your appointment, ask questions, have your questions prepared. You could do that. You can have a medication list prepared and make sure that you bring that to your doctor for checking. Medication reviews for everyone should take place at a minimum of 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months, because medications change. Some doctors will change you just through a phone call, and you have to remember to relay that to your other doctors. It's a lot to manage. Patients have to manage so much. They have to manage appointments. They have to manage disease. They have to manage their time to get to appointments, transportation, medications, treatments, especially if you have chronic illness like myself. I have to manage medications not only and treatments and appointments not only for myself, but for my daughter. And she has chronic illnesses. She, in fact, has a rare disease. So I understand the plight of a mom in that situation, even though I'm also an advocate. I want moms to form a legion and stand up for our kids because it's extremely important. They can't speak it for themselves, so it's our job to do so. We are caregivers by default. So when we go into the system with them or ourselves, it behooves us to be prepared for whatever it is. So make sure your questions are ready and question the answers that you are given during your appointment. It's important to have a dialogue. Your doctor shouldn't be talking at you. Okay. Your doctor should be talking with you because it's an exchange. A partnership is an exchange. The goal is to maximize our health, period. Maximize our health. Okay. And we do that through an exchange of ideas and expertise. Patients, you're the expert on you. Caregivers, you're the expert on the patient as well. Okay. And the provider brings their expertise and we work together. If in any way that is disrupted by personalities or language barriers or bias, either from the patient or the provider, it's not going to work. And optimal outcomes will not be reached because your relationship with your provider will directly affect your healthcare outcomes. You have to be able to get along with who's treating you, okay? You have to be able to talk with them. You have to be able to trust them with very private, intimate information, sometimes embarrassing information, but you have to tell them everything. So it should be a partnership, and you can get prepared for your partnership. Say that 5 times fast. You can get prepared for your partnership with your provider. I can't believe I said that. Okay. And there are ways to do that. Go in with an open mind. You have to be willing to hear what your provider is going to say to you. So go in with an open mind and go in with confidence. You're an expert on this team too. So there's no reason for you to feel intimidated or weary behind the white coat. There's no reason for a patient to feel like that, because we go in there, if we're ready and we're showing we're ready and we give our input, it's going to show our provider, okay, we are an involved patient. We are ready to take charge of our care by doing our part and partnering with you. That's extremely important. It will directly affect how you're treated, how you're medicated, how and what outcomes you'll have. It's extremely important for all of that to happen. So, another thing with being prepared with your appointments is making sure you have all the information and materials that you have to take with you to your appointment. There is nothing more maddening than going somewhere, all the way out somewhere to an appointment, and you don't have the prescription or the referral that you needed. You left it on your desk or your table or your bed or wherever. There is nothing more maddening than that. So make sure that you have it before you go. Be prepared for your appointment. Call them, ask them, what do I need to bring? It's okay to do that while you're making the appointment. It's more than about a date and a time. As a patient, the patient that you need to be, that patient is prepared for emergencies. And I recommend to everyone to have an emergency kit. That's a little place, whether it's a box or whether it's, a bag, have an emergency kit put together. And there are several things that you should have in the emergency kit. Copies of insurance information is one thing. That is so important because insurance means access to your health care. That's exactly what it means. So have copies of your insurance cards in there, maybe a change of clothes, because if you have to go to the hospital by ambulance, someone you trust can go to your place and get it. And you'll have all the information you need for your hospital stay if it turns out that way. You can put insurance cards in there. You could put clothes. If you have an extra set of glasses, you can put that in there. You can put slippers, things that'll make you comfortable if you have extras, or that person that you do trust to go get the emergency kit, they'll have to grab it for you. So always be prepared in that light. Another thing to be prepared to do is to answer questions. Your doctor or any kind of provider is going to ask questions of you as well. And in order, to maximize your health and the time that you have to be ready to answer those questions. Be ready to talk about symptoms. Be ready to talk about, recent tests or blood work, or if you've been having extraordinary pain or symptoms from any of the chronic diseases you may have. Be prepared to have the information that they need, whether it is that referral or prescription or anything else, test results that you needed to bring to that appointment. And for emergencies, they, have a record. If you have a complete medical history and a personal medical record, like I teach, then you would be, you could have that as well in your emergency kit. Or you can do, personal medical information online. I get into all of these topics in the Powerful Patient Partner Program, and I talk about it quite a bit in the content that I put up. So being prepared for appointments and for emergencies and to answer questions and to give information is so, so critical to getting the best care possible. And those are things that are only in our power. Those are things that you can do to claim your healthcare power. You see, knowing what you can do in the system and how you can make changes for yourself and what you can speak up on and what, needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. All of those things are very, very critical when you navigate the system, especially if you're a woman, particularly if you're a Black woman like me. Because we have more challenges to face than anyone in every system. But in healthcare, that can be shown and was shown through COVID-19. This pandemic has hit Black people 2.8 to 3 times worse than our white counterparts, just like every other disease. Why? Racism. Simple. Let's not even go any further. Racism. Simple. So we die more. We are wrought with chronic disease more, Black women. And for all women, we have to face gender bias in the system. And I'll tell you, that's not pleasant. No bias is pleasant. I mean, I've had to deal with the racist thing too. I had a doctor tell me one time, do you have a medical background? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm a board certified patient advocate. Okay. I wanted to end it there because I might have went a little further and my kid was there and, but the thing is, that type of activity, when you do get mad with your provider, doesn't work anyway. Going off and yelling and screaming and stuff. Believe me, I've done it. It doesn't really work out for you though, because if you still need that person, they're not going to want to help you. And as a social worker, I have been on the receiving end. And, it doesn't make that person want to help you anymore. So you can get things done nicely, but firmly. And that's how I teach Powerful Patient Partners to be. Nice, yet firm. Okay, no nonsense, but you can do small talk. There's a lot you need to be prepared for in the system, and there's a lot. I'm just scratching the surface here by saying appointments and emergencies and answering questions and having the information they need. You also need to know, and this is key, what your health insurance covers. However you will be treated, whether it's an appointment, whether it's a telemedicine appointment, whether it's the ER or a hospital stay, you need to know, as the good patient that you need to be, how your insurance will cover what's going on with you. If I have a doctor, a pain management doctor, who recommended to me acupuncture. And I said, you know what? Okay. Because I'm so sick of the pain. So I want to try it. But as we speak, I'm looking into how my insurance treats it, my primary insurance and my secondary. I want to know how both of them treat it before I go for it. Because in order to optimize your care, you do need to know how many visits you have available and how to time them out so it works for you. Because it's kind of hard getting extra visits out of health insurance companies sometimes. So plan around what is available in the plan that you've chosen, but you need to know what that is. For example, a lot of insurances will just give out a certain amount of visits for, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. They'll say, okay, maybe you get 25 visits a year and that's all we're giving. And if you've had therapy like me, you can use those 25 visits up very, very quickly. What about if you need more? What happens? You need to know how those things are covered. So in order to get the care and maximize your time, maximize your money in the system, I promise you, these are the ways that you can begin to do that. What do you need before, during, and after your appointment? Be prepared for emergencies with a prep kit that has your insurance cards, copies of your insurance cards in it, maybe a change of clothes, names of all your emergency contacts, information about your job so they can be called, being prepared to ask and answer questions at your appointments or in emergencies. Having a personal medical record and a complete medical history. That's the information that's unique to you, that all your providers can use. That's going to help you maximize your care because they know how to treat you, because you've given them the unique information about you. So you are treated correctly. Allergies, conditions, demographics, all different kinds of things that doctors need to know to maximize your healthcare outcome. And every provider needs to know it. It needs to be in communication with every provider. You have to prepare to do care coordination as well. And lastly, what your health insurance covers from A to Z. Know how it covers emergencies. Know how it covers ambulance rides. That's a big one for a lot of people. These ambulance rides, $10,000. Did I get the Ritz? Was it a hotel room inside? Really, I get, life-saving stuff. I get the bill then. But if you're just riding there, kind of so we can take a look at you, why is it $5,000? I had a poor woman that called me that had an inordinate ambulance bill. It was like $5,000 or $10,000 or something. Yes, she was really sick, but $5,000 or $10,000? She said the hospital was 2 miles away. So I'm trying to figure out what they were doing for maybe 10 minutes, pick up, 10-minute ride, and then get her out of there. For $10,000, that's, wow. So you got to be prepared for the healthcare system. And it helps you by saving you time and money. It's going to help you maximize your time. It really, really will. If you're prepared and you go down the list of things that you have to speak with the doctor about, it's completely going to maximize your time. And it's going to also show interest and involvement in your care and treatment. And that has to happen. No one is going to care about your care and treatment if you don't. No one. And whose responsibility is it? You. You. And for women, we face a lot of challenges in and out the system, outside of the system. So you must be prepared when you go in there to pretty much face anything. You know how they have those commercials about facing anything? Yeah, you're going to have to when it comes to healthcare, because a lot of times, unless you've been with that provider a long time, you don't know what you're going to get. In the ER, you don't know what type of doctor you're going to get. You don't know if that doctor is racist. You don't know if that doctor is sexist, or, you know, if they have or if they're homophobic or transphobic. You don't know. And no one wants to be traumatized in the healthcare system. It's bad enough having to be there. You know, if you're in the ER, you should really need to be there. So it's really harrowing when you try and get that kind of treatment and you get horrible treatment during your treatment. It can be very traumatizing. And I've run into a lot of women who have had to deal with those microaggressions, or who have been ignored or dismissed. And even during labor on my TikTok channel, oh my goodness, so many women have told me about, I put up a post about maternal health mortality, especially among Black women in the United States. Again, 3 times worse than our white counterparts. But I can't believe for the United States that mortality rates in maternal health are that abysmal. I think you can get better care in Finland. So, not down in Finland, but I don't want to go there to have a baby if we're supposed to be some kind of superpower here. You know? I mean, Russia just told us the other day they may have to put us in our place. I mean, I don't know. That's a scary thought. But, you know, the healthcare system in the United States needs a complete overhaul. It really, really does, and has ever since the advent of managed care. Doctors don't make the decisions as much as the insurance companies do. And that's not good enough. That's not good enough for any patient. Every patient in America needs a patient advocate at this point. If you haven't been mistreated, and it's for that reason, just to navigate this confusing and disjointed package we call U.S. healthcare, it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts sometimes for a lot of people. Now, I will say that there are some healthcare systems that have thought about the patient experience and from A to Z take care of it and make sure that things are good. They send, text surveys and make it, convenient for patients and parents and families, and caregivers. A lot of times caregivers are an unused resource in the healthcare system, but they are a wealth of information on patient care. I guess that particular patient. So come on, why are we not using them like the resources they are and supporting them like the resources they are? So, for women, there's a lot going on in the healthcare system. As I said, challenges inside and outside of the system. But my mission is to make sure that women have a better healthcare experience and can handle the challenges that she faces when they come upon her. So if you're interested in the Powerful Patient Partner Program or my coaching calls to help you get through a new diagnosis or a healthcare crisis, just go to advocacybypace.com. Again, advocacybypace.com. So again, being prepared, it saves time and money. It shows your providers that you're interested and you're involved in your care. It prepares you for better healthcare outcomes. It maximizes your time, and in maximizing your time, it saves you money. Many of us have had to go to another appointment to ask the questions we needed to before, you know? And there are ways to do that without having to go to an appointment anymore, okay? All of that is things that I teach, is something that I teach women. I want women to be educated and empowered and get the best health care for themselves and the people they love. That is my mission. And I'm going to do it through here, Healthcare Interrupted, and through Advocacy by PACE. So I hope you come out next week. And I thank you for coming out tonight or listening on the replay. Just know that you can get better care and a better return on your healthcare dollars and a better return on the time that you have to take in the system. I teach women how to do it, and I provide coaching calls and I provide education that is going to be coming out in the spring. I'm so excited, the Powerful Patient Partner Program. So come back to Healthcare Interrupted next Wednesday and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we will talk about more for helping women get a good healthcare experience, whether you're a patient, a caregiver, a mom of a child with chronic illness, or an adult child of senior parents. I am Tiffany Matthews, your healthcare BFF. Follow me everywhere on every social media platform at Advocacy by PACE or your healthcare BFF. Thank you. Good night.